It's currently about 6:40 a.m. Just woke up about an hour ago. I just been binge watching YouTube videos. I need to get up. It's my third week of therapy, and I'm gonna tell you all about it and more about my mental health journey. So let's go. This is part 2 of my mental health journey. I thought today I'll talk about my diagnosis of high functioning autism and recognizing how it's affected my life. Early in the morning, decided to, or really convinced myself to go for a walk. It's freezing out. You see my breath? No, you can't. It's not picking up on the video, but yeah, it's pretty cold. The sunrise right above the trees there. This is just kind of, I guess, part 2 of the mental health vlog journey that I'm going through before my therapy meeting today at 9. Anyways, waited till my hair dried a little more before it came out because it's probably gonna freeze. Video I did was talking about just generally what I was going through at the time, about anxiety and a little bit about the autism that I was diagnosed with, and I kind of reflected yesterday on how autism affected my entire life without really knowing it. Like, I always knew I had difficulties with certain things, but I never knew why. And so now with the diagnosis, I'm kind of thinking back to all the times that I had that were difficult, and it kind of all makes sense now. I just kind of wanted to share some stuff with you. I remember as a kid, and I remember I mentioned this before, the example that I gave of what it's like for me personally sometimes, where I get like this brain fog, and you know how sometimes you'll be writing something down, you'll be in school or something, you'll be writing something down, and someone will be talking and you can't concentrate or hear what the person's saying because you're concentrating on writing, or it's the opposite way around. You could hear what the person is saying, but you can't concentrate on what you're writing. For me, it'd be like I couldn't do both. I couldn't do either. Like, I couldn't hear what the teacher was saying, or I couldn't concentrate on writing. It's like my brain would just blank out. So it's like whenever there's too much information thrown at me, my brain just kind of doesn't know which one to concentrate on or process. So it just kind of blanks out, I guess. And I'm a lot better at it now, but the most frustrating thing is that you can't control it, you know? You can't control how your brain processes things. And when I was a kid, obviously, I was the same way, and I had a lot of struggles in school, a lot of things. Even when, you know, I would be told, like my parents would tell me to do something, and I wouldn't be able to do it for whatever reason, because I wouldn't fully understand. They'd have to repeat it like 3 or 4 times, and they'd get frustrated and stuff. And I always tell them, like, when they ask me to do something, like, I'd be worried about things, because I have such a hard time, turn around here, I have such a hard time doing things because of how I process things, that it made me afraid to do, like, big things that have consequences if you fail at it. And so my mom will, or my dad or a friend or something would, like, hey, can you do this? And I'd be afraid to. I'd say, I'll fail. And they'd always say, like, oh, no, you won't, you know, it's and if you do, it's okay, and things like that, which is nice. And but I could never, like, explain to them really, like, what I meant by that. It wasn't so much that, like, I felt like I was a failure or being negative. It was more of, like, my brain can't process it, because it's so difficult to process that I feel like I'm going to fail at doing that. And so I like became afraid to do things. I mean, I still hung out with friends and go outside and played and stuff as a kid and things like that. But I was afraid to drive, you know, in high school when driver's ed I was going through driver's ed. That was terrifying for me. Just because there's so much things you'll have to process. You know, there's the lights. First of all, it's new, so it's going to be even harder. So, and I mean, I'm learning everything. You know, I gotta think about the lights, the cars, the traffic, and I'm afraid that I'll have a brain fog moment where I'm, you know, getting a wreck or something. And so I was terrified of that. And so I postponed that for a long time. I went through the driver's ed course and was fine. But I just knew if I got overstimulated, it wouldn't be good, you know. But in high school, when, you know, junior year, I was 16 or 17, and everyone was getting a car, and I didn't, just because I was too afraid. Because I was afraid that my brain fog would cause an accident. And so, you know, all my friends would go out in their cars to, you know, parties, things like wherever they want to go. And I always had to make up an excuse so I wouldn't feel ashamed. You know, I'd say like, oh, I don't have enough money for a car yet. That was usually my go-to, because it made sense. But yeah, it created over years of having struggles with learning processing. It made it to where I was too afraid to challenge myself with stuff, especially things that have dire consequences if you make a mistake. And I think that was kind of the stem of where the anxiety came from, I think. It feels good to get inside. I was freezing cold. My hair is like, you can't really see it, but it's literally frozen. It's nice to be back inside. Okay. The big one was, this started when I was younger too, was because of brain fog and things like that. I had a fear of getting lost. And this probably happened because one time when I was a kid, I went walking with a friend, and we went real far from where I lived, and he ended up leaving to somewhat like one of his other friends, and I had to go home by myself, and I couldn't remember the way because of the processing, and so like I was freaking out. I somehow was able, I can't remember, but I was able to call my mom. I can't remember how I did it or whose phone I used, because I didn't have a phone at the time. I didn't have a cell phone. I was young. But I called my mom. She picked me up, and I handled it really well. I didn't have a panic attack or anything, but I was certainly really freaked out, and just remembering where I am relative to places has always been really hard for me to do for some reason. And so that also made me afraid to drive, because if I'm driving, the people are going to expect me to go places, and I hate doing that. I still do. It's not as bad, but that's another reason why driving was so hard for me to do. And so when I'm not driving and it's hard to hold a job, things like that, you start to feel kind of worthless. I know that's real harsh, but like you really do feel, you don't feel good. and I was like in a really dark spot. Like I was smoking really heavily tobacco, and drinking quite a bit too at one point. And I got to the point to where I just didn't really care anymore. And and it's like such a, I don't know, it's like a, I don't even know what to say. It's just I've been going through a lot, and I just wanted to kind of get my life together, you know, one step at a time. And I was hoping that if I document it, that it'll help me stay motivated. And because I genuinely think that, you know, I don't know when, but that I'm gonna heal. You know, I'm gonna face my demons, so to speak. You know, I'm taking these therapy classes and about 5 hours a day. It's just a therapy group where we share stuff and share coping skills. And now that I actually know that I have autism, that's why I think it was so difficult. Because not only did I have anxiety, which is also its own demon, um, I was fighting a battle I didn't even know I had. You know, I went the longest time not even knowing that, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. What made me think of making this video is just because it's so new to me that it gives me hope, and I'm a little optimistic because if I know what it is, then I know. And I swear I said this on the last video, but you know, I'll know how to cope and things like that. You know, when you have a name to the thing that you're going through, it helps. It's not this abstract thing that you're going through that you notice but don't know why you're going through it or what's causing it now. You know, it's relatable. People know what that is, so that makes me feel better. That, and I'm excited because I want to see myself out of this dark place and successful. You know, I want to be a success story. And haven't felt that way in a long time. I've always felt like I'd never be anybody. It's always, you know, because of my limitations and stuff, but I'm gonna work on it. And anyways, I'm dragging this video out. I apologize. And if you stayed this long, I appreciate you listening and everything. And yeah, I'll keep you updated. My anxiety, on good news, I'm not to be all negative. This whole fucking video is pretty depressing, to be honest. But I'm doing better. Like I said, this is more of like a past thing than it is what I'm going through now. Therapy group is working quite a bit with my anxiety. Also, it's hard to tell if it's the therapy that's helping or the medication that I'm on that's helping the anxiety. But my therapist brought up a good point that the medication will lower my anxiety down enough to where I could actually do things that'll help cope with my anxiety, like exposures, things like that. And yeah, so I think the next video, maybe when I get home, I'll do a part 3 of just of my mental health journey. I think that's just what I'm gonna call it. About what I've learned about anxiety and how I've been coping with it. And hopefully, if you have anxiety, it might be informative for you. And like I said, I'm not a therapist or a psychic. I'm just a guy who deals with anxiety. And so it's more of an experience thing. I'm not a professional by any means. I'm not diagnosing anybody. But I've learned a lot about it, and it's certainly helped me because I'm the type of person that wants to learn about the thing that I'm going through, because it just helps me. I don't know why. But yeah. Anyways, I'll end the video now. I was just kind of rambling now. But I'll talk to you guys soon. And by the way, I'm not done with painting. I'm still gonna. Like I said, that's what my channel's originally for. Just a painting channel. Also video games from time to time. I haven't played any games recently, but I'm still gonna be painting, things like that. So if you enjoy that, I'll still be making that. I've just been spending a lot of time just working on myself. Been working on a painting for a friend. I can show you that real quick. Turned out really well, I think. This is the kind of stuff that I envisioned as a kid, but just didn't have the skill to do it. So it's kind of, I'm actually recreating a really old drawing I did like years ago. But yeah. Watching, and you guys have a good day.